Hello, thanks for always remaining here with us on ZTTV. It's another exciting moment. We bring you another edition of Issues of the Moment. And today it's going to be quite interesting because it's something that bothers on everyone's existence in Nigeria. Now, why am I saying so? Don't think it's going to be a palliative being shared. Certainly not. But we're going to talk about the national identity card, the multiple functional national identity card that is being proposed by the National Identity Card Management Commission.
Yeah, Commission.
All right, so, and we have with us none other than the admin officer of the regional office here in Jalingo, Taraba State, to enlighten us more. I'm sure a lot of us will want to know what this multiple functional identity card will be. Is it going to be the same as our NIN? Or would it be something different? You will get all that here on Issues of the Moment. So join me as I welcome my guest, who's going to be introducing himself to us and then telling us what NIMC does here in Nigeria and back home in Taraba State before we go down to the issue of the multiple functional identity card being proposed by NIMC. So, sir, you're welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
So can we meet you?
She said my name is Amos Paul. I'm the admin officer of the regional office, which is based in Taraba, cover Taraba, Yobe, and Borno State. So this is our location. This is where the regional office is based.
Wow. You cover a lot of caps then.
Yeah, we just cover 3 states.
Just 3 states?
Just 3
That's
states.
a handful if you talk about national identity management. Don't you think so?
Yeah, but you know, we call it the smaller the better. You think it's a handful, but the smaller the better. We have 36 states in Nigeria.
Sure.
So definitely we're just covering 3 out of 36 minus FCT. So I think we have a lot of work to do, but just like my regional manager is up and down doing his tour and visits now. So we have to make sure we work and make things work out.
Sure. You're always working. What are you exactly doing? Always busy.
We're not always working.
Okay.
Our basic function, our basic job is to supervise and to give each Nigerian an identity. Why did I say supervise? Is because we have front-end partners that do a lot of the job. So we try to supervise them, and then we try to give and correct any mistakes that come up with the process of getting the national ID card.
Such as, you said mistakes come up?
Mistakes, yes. People's names, people's date of birth, addresses, and so many other things that come with the national ID card.
Wow.
You know, people are not perfect, 1, and 2, we are Nigerians. Why do I say we're Nigerians? Because Nigerians can never come up with one thing and tell you that this is the final thing we have. Tomorrow they'll come and tell you that, no, this is not my date of birth. You came and gave this to us. It's your data. No, this name is not correct. Okay, I changed my husband. Or I am changing my one thing or the other that comes up, phone numbers and all that. So we make sure that these things are corrected.
You sounded chauvinistic in some part there. You changed your husband. You didn't talk about changing wives or added a wife. Well, that's just by the way. Okay, so now these changes,
Yeah.
I hear they attract some fee,
Yeah.
but certain don't attract some fees. Could you help us clear them? Which ones attract what fee and then how much?
For every change, it attracts a particular fee.
Okay.
Name, address, and most of the other fields, it's 500 naira apart from bank charges.
Wow.
The bank charges come up, so I think it reaches up to 565 or so
Wow.
that you spend. Now, basically, if you have an Android phone, you can also generate from your phone, pay the remitter. It's the federal government.
Okay.
Federal government account, you pay directly. And then the date of birth is also 15,000, which of course by the time you pay in the bank, it generates up to 15,125 naira in total.
Wow.
Yes, but don't forget, when you're changing the date of birth, you must get an attestation letter, an affidavit, and some other things. So that makes it more expensive.
Wow. Changing your date of birth cost as much as 15,000 naira, the charges for the federal government.
Well, I think the federal government is even being lenient.
Okay.
Federal government should discourage the change of date of birth by making it like 100 or 200,000. So yes, why would you change? Are you born again? Can you be born again? No, it's true.
Very well.
How can you get a new date of birth? But that's the problem we're having in Nigeria. People will tell you that, no, my job and everything, and they come with authentic documents. So will you tell them no? No, you don't tell them no. It's their right. It's their right to be changed. So you have to hear them and listen to them. They're citizens of Nigeria.
Just to attract the cost.
Definitely.
So
that's why it's a little bit expensive.
Just to deter people from.
Yes, don't
the
constantly come and
attitude.
change your data. But does it deter Nigerians?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, does it? Does the cost of fuel stop people from queuing up in the fuel station?
Not at all.
It doesn't. Well, that's why we're Nigerians.
Well, we'll come back to what policy direction will be taken to adjust things like that, because we can't continue like that. We are aspiring to be a civil nation. So at some point, maybe criminalizing changing of data, but not just asking for a pay, could make these changes. But let's get down to the point of the multiple functional identity card. That's the much talked about anywhere about NIMC right now. You agree with me?
Yes, I've heard it a lot out there.
Okay.
People talk about it a lot. But it brings up a little kind of misunderstanding. You know,
that's what we want to clear.
It's like a 3-in-1 card, but it's not like it's. People call it 3 cards, but it's not 3 cards actually. It's 1 card.
Okay.
That AfriCard, in conjunction with banks and NIMC, come together. That's why NIPS comes, the Nigerian Interbank Settlement Scheme. It came into because we're trying to bring up something that is robust, that financial institutions can use, the health sector can use, and you can use it for your immigration work and every other aspect of the country whenever you are trying to solve one particular problem or the other. Okay. That card is going to surface and cover every problem that you want to solve. So that's why it's a multifaceted and a card that is robust. You know, the former one was more of an ATM card, and that one was more of a prepaid card.
Okay.
Just like the one you're having. It's more like a prepaid card. But this one is going to be like a debit card.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's the difference between the
difference is that a debit card is attached to your account. You have an account already existing,
okay,
and then you can just use it to withdraw money from your account. While a prepaid card, you have to walk into the bank, then load money into the card. Especially, it's a virtual account.
Okay.
You load money into it, and when you load money, then you can use it to carry out your transactions. And when the money is completely exhausted,
you go back again.
You go back again and load.
Cumbersome.
Yes.
So that's what this current proposal is expected to change.
Yes, it's going
convert it to a debit card.
Yes, it's going to be a debit.
So, but you talked about 3. Apart from it being a debit card, what else?
Well, we have this health sector. You know, NHIS comes in.
Okay.
When you're looking for a job, and other factors that you use to solve problems one way or the other. You know, when you're going for a meeting, now if you see the new international passport, your NIN number is in it.
Okay.
Yes, go and check. You see your NIN number in it. Why is that? It's to make it easier. So NIMC is trying to give you a card that makes it easy, that wherever you find yourself, the card is a mix, and it solves the problem that you have at that moment.
Are you saying that if you have your card, suppose that card is functional now?
Yes.
If you have the card and then you get to the airport and you don't have your big international passports, you flash that card, it can work for you?
Okay.
It will bring up your data or something?
Definitely it will bring up your data if it's supposed to be checked. But you know, definitely no one is going to answer your international passport without the international passport. No, okay. No, it's not going to be possible. Yes, it covers you. It's just like the social security number. When you go to the States or anywhere, by the time you flash your social security number, it opens doors. It solves a lot of problems. So Nigeria is trying to make it in an easy way that yes, this card, we've given it to you, and wherever you go to, it opens doors and solves your problem. What kind of
doors? I'm sure people will be wondering, is it a job door or, I mean, a restaurant I go eat for free? Please be clear so that we understand what doors will this multiple card open.
Okay, let me give you an example. Okay. Let me use something that is out of the basis that people look into. Now, coppers have gone to camp, right?
Sure.
More are still going to go to camp, and every year we churn out coppers. Now, NYC has made it compulsory that, okay, you must bring your national ID card. And before you even on board to go for NYC, first you have to input your NIN, and then it will check your data to make sure that your data that you're giving is correct before it will permit you to fill the form to onboard to be a copper. If there is a slight mistake, even in the spelling of your name or date of birth, don't think as we used to say, the hours even matter.
Okay.
Because maybe on the 25th hour, that's the next day, you made that mistake. Instead of writing 18th, you wrote 19th. That day, it will not allow you. Even the banks will not allow you to access your funds when that day stands out. So you can imagine what NIMC stands to make a difference in Nigeria. So that's why I said it opens doors, because if there's a slight mistake, that door is going to be closed. Your services that you need will not be provided. What you want to do will not, you cannot access it. You must make sure everything is correct. And you see, centralizing our database makes everything easy. You know, Nigerians, you hear someone today, my name is 2, my name is 3. But when you have one database that has the correct set of names, then definitely you have no problem. Because wherever you go to, whatever you do, flash the name, it solves the problem. You know, that makes me digress a bit. I wanted to say, why can't INEC just use the name for election?
I was going to ask you. So why do we have the national identity card? We have the voters card. We have the BVN. Is this card, this multifunctional card, going to incorporate this and then solve those problems? Those are the ones I want to really...
Harmonization is underway. This is the first step of harmonization. Now, the truth is that some factors that you want to be met. This thing, NIMC has been having these plans for long of using NIM to solve so many problems in Nigeria, because the NIM is tight, the NIM is secured, the NIM is good, and our able DG now is making it more robust, and the security firewalls around it are increasing, so that you don't make a mistake of taking someone's name or causing a problem. So, being an IT expert, those ideas are coming in, and then we're putting them in place, and we're seeing that everything should move smoothly. So we try to say, okay, use it for election, but I think we have to go to the Senate and ask them why that is not done. Because we can only propose, we cannot decide.
Sure.
We can only tell them this is what we think should happen, but they take the decision and tell us this is the final say.
Possibly, since they have oversight function over NIMC,
yeah,
they are not yet certain that NIMC can do that, has the capability to.
They do, they know.
They know you have the capability.
They know we have the capability of doing so many things, but you know, just like I will say, don't delve into something that you cannot solve.
Sure.
We cannot solve that as for now until the final words are given. As you see, the president has come in, he's approving these ones now, trying to make it more robust, covering every other area. So with time, all these things will be covered. Because I remember in his speech, he said he's going to use NIMC to solve a lot of problems in Nigeria.
Sure.
And that's what he's doing right now.
A lot of problems, because Nigerians are tired of insecurity, we're tired of the bank scams, and especially these issues where people still take other people's, because if you take someone's thing without the person's permission, that's stealing.
That's stealing.
So you take someone's name and then begin to perpetrate fraud. What's NIMC doing to curtail this with this proposed multifunctional card?
Just like I told you, I said firewalls have been created. We're creating so many things to make sure that the NIM is secured. Okay? Not that we're perfect. You know, when you talk of IT is robust and wide. And as someone said, for everything, there's always a little loophole that comes out somewhere. That's some people that believe that this is their job and this is what they feel like doing, come up with it and cause problems. Bank fraud, have they stopped?
Not
no.
at all.
International passport fraud, has it stopped? No. So many of these things, if you hear the amount of money that banks are losing every year on fraudulent activities online, you will be shocked.
And that's the fear.
Banks are spending money.
That's Nigerians' fear when you propose this. Will this not cause more harm to Nigerians than good?
No, I doubt that. I want to stand on the positive side.
Okay.
Just like I told you, we're creating so many firewalls every day to make sure we reduce and stem down this situation so that it doesn't go further. We want to stop it. We want to make it come to an end. That's why when it's centralized, you can be, look, you have said it. Even in the States, wherever it is, you hear that this fraud takes place.
Yeah.
Fraud takes place even on social security numbers. People still steal other people's social security number and carry out so many things. But we are trying to see how we can minimize that. Make a system that is acceptable and something that we can be able to put our heads together and make it right. But let me ask something. To make it right, we have to stem out corruption. We have to stem out all these things that come up to spoil the issues up and down. So, if we can be able to nip these people from the board and solve the problem, then that is it. But can you be able to catch every IT person on the street that is fraudulent? It's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. So let's begin to wind down to reality. How long from now will this card manifest? Meaning getting into the hands of Nigerians. You have admitted there are lots of gaps that needs to be, bridged before this will be near perfect or something usable. So how long from now do we hope that this can work? The president desires it.
No.
For him to make a pronouncement on it.
No, I didn't say that card. We're working on that card to be perfect. We're working on everything, the whole system to be perfect.
Okay.
That's what we're working on it. But this card, all things being equal, hopefully by next month it should be ready.
Wow.
Are you
That fast?
surprised?
Yes, I am.
It's been in the pipeline. As soon as the DG came into office, she started working on that. And she's trying to make sure it works beautifully and perfectly. Are you looking forward to it?
Well, I don't know. It's a mixed bag. Now, I fear a lot of online fraud.
No.
So for me, it's a little bit skeptical. And maybe you should give assurance to Nigerians like me who dare fear these cards that have chips that can be used online and all of that.
Now,
How do you actually encourage us
we have come
to believe in this?
We have come to accept the ATM card, have we not?
Somewhat.
Have we not come to accept online banking?
Somewhat.
Have we not come to accept this banking? What do you guys call it? This code banking that you put in code and then you put the account number and it goes.
Chip.
No, this one that you use your phone to
Short
press.
codes.
Short code.
Short codes.
We have accepted it. If we can accept this, then what is wrong with this one? It's like the same. When you let down your guard on some areas, look, these fraudsters are always looking for one way or the other. If you block them here, they open another way. In every system, it's like that. So if we tell ourselves that we're not going to develop because fraudsters exist, then we're going to go back to IK. Let's go back to Stone Age. Let's go back trade by barter.
Not possible.
Then that is it. We have to move with the current technology and the advancement of everything in the world.
Okay.
Because we want to be better.
Thanks for the assurances. And I do hope that Nigerians have taken that to heart.
Definitely.
And then we do believe that it will work and then work well. But beyond that, if it comes in next week or next month, I have my NIN already. I have my card, for instance. What do I do?
Now, we, just like I said, who we're in conjunction with, Nigerian Interbank Settlement Scheme, NIMC. Now, what NIMC does is that it collaborates the banks together.
Okay.
As I was telling somebody, I said, if you make a transfer from one bank to the other, it must reach a particular platform, then it selects the bank that it's supposed to go to. So there's control.
At some point.
Yes, at some point, to make sure that it directs to that particular bank. It's not that you send your money and go from one bank A, and go straight to bank Z. No,
Like witchcraft.
that is it. There is somewhere that it hits first, and then it moves. That's why at times you hear, it has not dropped, it has not moved.
Technology.
That is it, that's the technology. And then this, there's a particular amount itself. If it is over what you're supposed to send, NIBS will hold on to it first, and then a lot of queries and red flags will start coming up.
Sure.
So we are partnering with them to help us work and make sure these cards are good, because they regulate the banks in this area, and then these commercial banks come in. Now, I cannot give you the whole details of the function of the commercial bank, but I know they will definitely issue you the card.
At some cost.
Yeah, of course, it can't be free.
Just like you pay for your ATM,
Your ATM
cards.
card, yes.
Aha.
Now, this is a multifaceted card that does a lot of things, but we are putting it in their hands because we trust that Nigeria will get something out of it, and people are going to have the good value of this card. Yes.
It's going to be a choice from the sound of it. If you opt not to collect the card, you are allowed to still maintain that your paper NIN.
Now, that is a question I would rather not answer, because that aspect I'm not very sure.
It's going to be very important for Nigerians because
Well, the announcements are going to come
you
out
know
soon.
several persons don't have bank accounts.
I know so many.
So what do they do to also obtain a NIN? They want their NIN.
Do you
They are
know,
entitled
do
to
you know
it.
so many people still don't have NIN?
Yes,
That
that's
is
also.
it. And we're doing our best to give them the NIN. Some of them, it is, as we say, issues or concerns or problems that come up and make them to get the name.
Sure.
But we try to make them understand it is important for you. That those 11 digits are very important in your life because
Every Nigerian.
That's why we make it that if you want to register your SIM, get it. If you want to work on your NHIS, get it. And if you see NHIS become robust now, you don't have to be a civil servant or working for someone to get NHIS. There are always flaws that you can walk in and get your NHIS. So we are trying to make things easy in Nigeria. Let it work. Let Nigeria work. Let Nigeria move to the next level. Nigeria, they said we are backward, but we are trying to see that we become better. We have claimed that we're a digital economy. So if we don't have digital things working, and you believe that because of fraudsters and the things that happen along the line, the bottleneck, but we're not going to move, then we'll remain behind.
Maybe not fraudsters, sometimes economic hardship. For those who are in the grassroots, how would they assess these kinds of card when you eventually get to it?
Now, the issue is that most of them are coming. There's a lady that came in this morning. She was having a little complaint. She was like, I am from the village. I had to spend 2 days here because the bank was giving me problems. Now, she left her village and came to the city because she needed a bank account. And then from there, they made her understand, you need a national ID card. And she came to get the national ID card. So we had to put her through and explain so many things to her. In fact, the bankers did not explain most of what she should understand. We had to put her through to make sure that she knows that this is what happens at the bank, and this is where we come in, and this is what. She was so glad that she came into NIMC that we made her understand the value of the NIM, and then how it affects her and her bank account. So you see, no matter where people are, now we are moving to the hinterland.
Okay.
Now we have the Android machines that the DG has been able to get for us from outside the country. Although we are on the testing stage, but it's working wonders.
What does that do? Can it issue the card?
No, it's like the same machine that we have this big, just like our 3-in-1 machine that is on the table that you do enrollment. Wow. But these ones are like Androids. If you go for this MTN registration and all, you see them carrying some little devices.
Sure.
So now we have devices that we move around and then capture people.
Okay.
So we try to go into this hinterland to get them into the system. Encourage them. Make them understand that, look, it's necessary. I once had an issue when I was an enrollment officer of 2 Fulani people that came. They enrolled with their pet names. And then they were trying to go for Hajj. And their international passport was carrying their real names. I asked them, why did you do that? They started speaking English. That time, they didn't know the value of the card before. But now that they came for international passport and they said they must bring it, and the international passport has expired, so they said they must renew it. I put them through so much rigorous exercise of getting affidavit, and so many things before we were able to change it for them.
Change the names?
Yes.
The pet names?
The pet names. They were the ones, quite all right. We checked our database and everything. They were the ones. But you can imagine someone, you know your name is Bello, and then you come and they call you Alaji at home. Then you put Alaji. So these are problems. So they come up with that. So we try to enlighten them. So many of you will be coming from the villages, those that think that you want one thing or the other is to just defraud them. Then they come and realize they made a mistake. And that is normal. Go and bring a document, let's see. Though NIMC has been considered because, you know, in the northern part of Nigeria, it's been considered we are educationally backward.
Sure.
So they give us the advantage of going into this hinterland, getting these people, making sure you check if there are documents, you ask them the names, make sure you interview them properly, and if you get the right names and the right date of birth, some of them will be counting shells for you or cowries and telling you that I've been keeping this one after the other since I was born.
Count their years.
Count their years because they're illiterate. So you have to help them in that aspect so that you solve their problem.
And that can be done in the office in the capital, for instance.
No.
Of the rush and all
If
that.
you come to the capital and you tell me that you don't know your date of birth, I would tell you that please go and get it. Because the problem is that we just mentioned the gigantic amount, 15,000 naira, which of course, if you ask me, I'll say make it 100,000 naira so that less people come. Yes, so that people can be less. But I know that will not stop Nigerians from changing their date of birth.
No, okay, let's talk about this date of birth very well. You kept harping on it. As a journalist, I would also tell you from interviewing people, it has become a norm. Out of ignorance, people are meant to adjust their ages, just declare ages. So it's a norm, and then it's one aspect of life we're hoping to reorientate Nigerians over, especially those who are illiterate. I mean, you ask someone, how old are you? He said, well, on this document, I use this. And on the other document, I use this other age. But this is my exact birth date. Now, why would you have several or multiple birth dates if not ignorant? And if you search, most of them don't even have paid employment, let alone you say you do that to increase your days of retirement, you know. So this is an issue that I think in the course of your counseling or enlightening those who want to come for new enrollment, we don't need all of this drama. I call that drama, if you ask me. Someone has inserted that knowledge into people's heads. Don't grow old. But it doesn't make sense. Now, 15,000 naira could be cheap. But for me, I'm even looking forward to someday where NIMC might even say, okay, it's criminal. You do that, you go to jail for 5 days or for 5 years or for something. So that people know that it is actually very wrong. Falsification, that's falsification, right? So what's the need for it? So if NIMC is going to change date of birth for 15,000 naira and then change maybe phone numbers and all that for just 500 naira, it means it's quite dangerous and very harmful. Now, what's NIMC planning to do, especially moving forward with this improvement on a multi-purpose card, to ensure that Nigerians don't find this thing become a joke like they usually do before now?
Ignorance is not an excuse.
Sure, in law.
That in reality, ignorance is not an excuse. You must be able to know everything around you. Because yes, you let's say you want to cross the road and then the car knocks you down. Are you going to say, I didn't know that vehicles pass on this road? That's not an excuse. So no matter how it is, you must make sure you try to have an understanding of what you're doing. Just like you said, you should know that when someone walks up to you and says, put your date of birth here, we're going to give you a document, you should tell yourself wholeheartedly, I'm giving the right information. I have to give the right information because that's who I am. But if you decide to tell a lie, then there's a price you pay for it. And I am glad you said we are Nigerians. And I'm not trying to be saucy or something, but Nigerians can be funny. Just like you said, so many want to change their date of birth because they feel they should never grow old. Now, there's a law in NIMC that no Nigerian should be enrolled twice. No, you can't be enrolled twice. We're supposed to arrest you and hand you over to the authorities.
Wow.
That's for enrolling twice. Understand the difference. Fresh enrollment twice. But you can come with that particular name and we can make adjustments wherever you have made a mistake, just like you said. Ignorantly, they filled it. Or some changes happened in their lives and they filled it. So, based on this, we are permitted to bend and listen to them. We cannot be rigid.
Sure.
We cannot be rigid because even central bank is not rigid. People walk into the bank and open their accounts, and then in the commercial banks, and then tomorrow they come back and tell you, I've changed my name. But you go and make a newspaper publication. It's not all of them that are getting married that are changing their names. Some for being with guardians, some for one thing or the other.
Sure.
In NIMC, we've had stories of people coming to tell us how they falsified documents to use someone's details to get a job. Yes, that is Nigeria for you. What do you do in this situation? What do you do with Nigerians in this situation? These are problems that we're facing. So if we don't tell ourselves the truth that we're going to change the country by ourselves, then nobody's going to change it for us.
Sure.
So it starts from me and you. So as a journalist, when you hear these people or you see them with this kind of issues, you make them understand that, look, we must start that change from us. Let it be stable, let it be constant, so that others can understand. If everyone decides to change, then we have a better world. But if you decide to change and I don't change, then I'm telling you, we'll continue to have these fraudsters and these problems in NIMC that you are suggesting that these people were supposed to listen to. Yes, we listen to them. We have no option. But at times we turn them back because, okay, let me give you an example. You walk up to me now because you're looking for a job and you tell me you want to change 24 years. I mean, reduce 24 years from your date of birth.
Wow.
Okay, how does that sound to you?
Okay.
Oh, you're surprised?
Very.
Why are you surprised? Don't be. This is Nigeria.
And you're allowed to do that?
No. We're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
Yes. Now, I'm just giving you an example.
So what do you do at that instant?
We send you away. We can't continue to bring the police to come and arrest everybody. We send you away. We tell you we won't. We can't. So that is it. So how do you make Nigeria a better place? By reading out the laws and sticking to it.
Sure. Wonderful. Quite enlightening talking to you. But before we end today's program, let's hear from you. How much will that multi-functional card cost?
Do you want an answer from me?
That's why I asked.
No idea. I don't work with the banks. I don't work with central bank.
It will be the entire liberty of the banks to charge
No,
Nigerians?
no.
Fine.
No.
As a
Of
regulator,
course.
I expect that
Okay.
a
Now,
negotiation on behalf of Nigerians should happen.
well, the good thing is I'm not part of the negotiating
You
team.
know
I'm
commercial
not part of
banks
the
are out for profits.
I believe the fee will be flat. I believe so.
Okay.
It's going to be flat. Now, you and I are talking of fees. It is not out yet. So by the time it comes out, maybe the president will say, give it to them free. Do we know? He can make that decision on his own. It's his country.
Wow.
Give it to them free. I will bear the cost. This card was given to you free of charge, was it not?
Sure, it was given.
The president said, give it free. I'll bear the cost. So, but the federal government started feeling the pangs of it, and many people were not coming to collect the cards, and we're just having piles and piles of cards. So, we suspended it. But the truth is that we don't know what the president, the commander-in-chief, or the armed forces is going to say. He might say, give it to them free. So, let's not take a decision on that.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and then we hope that when the cards are out, we'll definitely come back to talk to NIMC in Taraba State, for Tarabans to also follow the queue of what's going on. We don't want to be left behind at all. It's our tech age, and then we should enjoy that.
Yeah.
So the multifunctional NIMC card we just had should be ready by next month, hopefully. And then when it comes out, don't think you will come to NIMC to collect, just like you walk in and get your NIN printed. You're going to get them from commercial banks. Am I right?
Yes.
And then when you do so, you're going to pay some fee. Fee not determined by NIMC, but by the banks. And then if it is declared for free, well, we're keeping our fingers crossed. You want to add something? I see you're itching.
No, journalists can be funny at times. I said maybe it will be free. We don't know. You asked me to fix a price. I
So
told you.
maybe sounds like it could also be for a
It could
charge.
be for a charge.
Yes.
Because it's going to be printed for a cost. So who's going to bear the cost? That's the question you should ask yourself.
Maybe the citizens.
Maybe the government.
Maybe the
Maybe
government.
from your tax. Who knows?